Hi everybody, this is Hero from the Birds back with another Shadowlands video. We are looking at Holy Paladin for 9.2, and this is the video where I tell you what I think the world first Holy Paladin raiders will be playing next tier. Yeah, you guessed it, Venthyr Holy Paladin. Now, Venthyr has had this kind of shaky relationship with the PTR of late. Maybe they're getting nerfed by 60%, maybe not. They're certainly getting a change to the functionality of our Radiant Embers. Specifically, it is now in the player's control when they want to cancel Ashen Hallow. In my view, guys, this is a gigantic buff. Imagine if your raid leader had access to your Ashen Hallow either for 20 seconds in a certain window or for 45 seconds in another kind of window. Then they could say, hey, I need this to be a 2-minute cooldown or a 4-minute cooldown. That sort of flexibility in the player's hands is gigantic. But also the quality of life for the paladin themselves. Now, when you're dodging mechanics, you don't have to be worried about stepping out for a second to get out of splash or damage or move away from a partner and then lose your Ashen Hallow. It's now under your control, and this is going to make Venthyr Paladin even better going forward. But now we can combine that also with Mad Peregrine. So Venthyr in general offers you a damage buff while you're within Ashen Hallow to your Hammer of Wrath. We can now pair that with Mad Peregrine and the duration of the Radiant Embers to give us a lot more uptime on Hammer of Wrath. These two things in general is why it is very unlikely that any other setup will do more damage than Venthyr Holy Paladin. But hold on, Hero. Isn't Paladin a healing class? What are we talking about damage for? Well, in general, when you're trying to complete the content in the first week and a half or two, what you really need more than anything is damage from as many sources as you can get it. So the passive damage that especially Ashen Hallow offers is the ideal kind of damage profile for a world first raider because it's doing all its work passively. It's a huge CD that does a burst amount of damage. You can control it now a little bit more in terms of the duration. It's giving you access to a premium damage, i.e. the execute for Paladin. It's buffing that execute. All of these features make it even more attractive versus trying to manage Vanquisher's Hammer in Necrolord, trying to buff people with Night Fae, with the summer buff and getting it on the right target and waiting for cooldowns to line up. Some of that could work potentially, but I think here in Venthyr you have the answer. And of course it's the same answer that we had before, just in this case we get a new element. And that new element is our 4-piece, which essentially is going to offer us 100% uptime on Wings. That's gigantic, guys. Wings is offering us 30% crit, 30% damage, and 30% healing across the profile. Having that up for 100% of the time with a longer Ashen Hallow, with more Hammer of Wrath damage, all of this makes for a really great experience if you're looking for damage out of your healers. So this is just kind of passive benefits. What we're going to see, you don't see Shield on the Righteous here, because when I was doing my testing, I was just trying to Light of Dawn as many targets as I possibly could to get my cooldown back. But if you imagine yourself hitting 5 targets with Light of Dawn, you will easily get your Avenging Wrath cooldown all the way back. In fact, I think it's so good that we can move away from Awakening and probably even move away from Divine Purpose and put together Seraphim and Sanctified Wrath in our ideal build for Venthyr Holy Paladin. So I expect that you will see people running Venthyr. You will see people running probably Nadia for the buffs, probably Dauntless Duelist. You're likely to see something like your Focused Light, Hallowed Discernment, and then the damage portion of Shield of the Righteous, which is going to give you essentially the best bang for your buck in a burst window. And then obviously you're going to spend a few more of your holy power on Light of Dawn to make sure you have access to 100% uptime, but eventually people will figure out how many casts that is in a 20-man raid, and then they will pour everything else into Shield of the Righteous for damage. Just going to put a little test here so you can see rotationally what this looks like. You can see here I'm hitting this one Dungeoneering training dummy. You open with Hallow into Wings, and then you're focusing on Hammer of Wrath, Judgment, and Holy Shock. Those three things, filling with Crusader Strike whenever you can. Obviously dropping our Consecration in AoE. But you can see the damage profile in Burst. I don't have a potion here. I don't even think I was using my unused trinket as well. This is just standard stuff that we're used to seeing, and now we are going to have access to Wings uptime all of the time. You can see here, just by hitting one target myself with Light of Dawn, I'm still cooling Avenging Wrath down reasonably well, but that'll be all the way around. Every single cast of Light of Dawn giving us 10 seconds of CDR on Wings. Anyways, guys, I decided to make this video because I think if you were a Holy Paladin looking to move up into a more hardcore raid scene, or if you're wondering why in the World First Raid Holy Paladins are playing something like Venthyr, the reason why is because the damage profile is gigantic. And if you can offer your raid 4, 5, 6k DPS, it pushes the boss over that much faster. And if you can do it sort of passively, meaning you can still take care of most of your duties, you have a great healing profile with Ashen Hallow, you can plan around Ashen Hallow like a healing CD. All of these things makes it that much more worth it. And in fact, it's actually kind of easy to play, right? You don't have to manage Vanquisher's Hammer. You don't have to manage the blessings and make sure you're casting it on the right target. You don't even have to manage Divine Toll overcapping your holy power, so make sure you clear off with Light of Dawn before you cast it, and then getting these little infusions of Holy Shock each moment. You just put down Hallow and you go to town, and you know while Hallow's down, everyone in that area is going to be fine. And you can now move in and out of it. You don't even have to bother worried about where you are stacked up. You can do mechanics, and Hallow is off still healing the entire raid. So awesome stuff, guys. And I would encourage you, if you are looking for a damage profile version of a healing spec, this is the one you should play. Don't play Disc Priest unless you like it. Don't try to do weird shenanigans with Druid. Don't worry about trying to do Venthyr Monk stuff. Venthyr Monk, by the way, is fine. It's going to do amazing HPS, but the DPS profile is nowhere close to Venthyr Holy Paladin. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we will catch you again next time.